This one is kind of more uplifting to me in a very weird way, and I have a very strong opinion in this
P. Diddy
arena.
is uncanceling the cancel.
Yes,
he's stealing Piers Morgan's job from him.
Let's do it.
It is so Piers Morgan has recently been one of the many people that's turning cancel culture into a product, something that they can sell you. For everything, every time the world goes one way, somebody's going to have something going the other way as a means of profiting. But in a way, I don't have a problem with this as much as I would the average thing. The idea here is that P. Diddy hypes Morgan Wallen and Travis Scott on the billboards. He says, I'm uncanceling the canceled only. He says it in what voice?
Uncanceling the cancel.
Yes.
I love it.
So this came out the other day and it says, Sean P. Diddy Combs, who, yes, is still alive and I haven't really thought of in a great many years, will use his 2022 Billboard Music Awards hosting and executive producer role to spread love and forgiveness and around some formerly unlovable dudes. Now, that's kind of hard to, unlovable is very hard.
I mean, that is kind of the motivation behind it.
Yeah.
Here's
so
how
it says,
you know this is a religion. Didn't the church used to sell forgiveness as well?
They sold little things.
Well, indulgences.
Yeah. They're literally doing that again.
Can you explain that to me?
So the Catholic Church, I believe, used to, the Pope used to sell. Basically,
there were certain indulgences that you could buy in the church,
if you
which
kill a
just
man,
is a remission of time in purgatory.
There were coupons. If you killed two guys, you could pay for the price
there
of
were
one.
Indulgences you could earn in the Crusades.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to end up being something here. The more aspiring, business-minded people who are in producer roles be like, sure, we'll uncancel you, but your fee is going to be much smaller than that of somebody who doesn't have any dirt on them, right?
That's fine.
That's what they're going to get. So basically, the idea is that he said that he was going to have them on. And he says, I said my brother Travis Scott has to perform, and NBC said yes. Diddy said on Instagram. So he's kind of lumping Travis Scott and Morgan Wallen. So I forgot to get this started. Morgan Wallen, about 15 months ago, got caught on a Ring camera at his house using a racial slur that is very bad and nobody should be saying. And for that, he was chastised by society and kind of...
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you.
So he was very much chastised for what he said. And then also, as we know, Travis Scott had the Astroworld incident, which he just, he's the lawsuits. I think there's over $1 billion coming against him.
By the way, isn't it funny that saying a word is now seen with the same gravity as people
being
dying?
That was what I was going to say. It's so they put these two in the same camp. Oh man, remember when you said that really awful word? He's like, yeah, remember when those 10 people died because you didn't stop them from stampeding?
Yeah. That's the same. About the same.
I have a hard time with this one because this is not one of the things about when you do stuff like this is you look for clear cut stories to be told, and the clear-cut story is that it's Morgan Wallen and he said something bad, and P. Diddy, who would have that right to be offended because it's a racial slur that would be personal to him, would uncancel him and say, you know what, I forgive you. But this is a far less clean cut and I don't even know what the word for it. It's a far less decisive type of situation, right?
Yeah.
So to this, you have to worry about, by saying that, yes, he should forgive Morgan Wallen and use him in the show, should he also be forgiving Travis Scott? I don't know what the answer to that is.
My thing is what's interesting about Travis Scott is that he potentially has one of the most reprehensible cases of being canceled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not that his cancellation was reprehensible, but the actions that led to his cancellation are insane.
Yeah.
And for some reason, despite this, he's the guy we need to save constantly.
Yep.
And frankly, this guy's a C-lister, B-lister. Am I wrong?
I
Travis
believe
Scott's
he's
pretty
an
popular.
A-lister,
He's
especially
not
because
A.
he's affiliated with the Kardashians now. I think he's definitely at least
he is unfortunately
B+.
at
maybe.
least B plus.
high
He's
B+,
just
yeah.
he's just not as good Kid Cudi, if you ask me. But that's
Well,
my personal opinion.
That's opinion.
So he says Travis went through a tragedy. That's an interesting way to phrase that.
Huh.
Morgan used the N-word while talking to his boy. The self-proclaimed primetime puff reminded readers, people make mistakes. Now we're moving on with love and respect for everybody that was hurt or affected. It's time to forgive. I can support that message.
Yes.
But I just feel like it shouldn't be P. Diddy that's like vested with
Yeah.
the authority to tell everyone that this
I
person is redeemable.
Disagree. I think P. Diddy is a perfect person to do this because he has the clout. This is a little bit like Kanye West helping these people get back on their feet, like giving them a second chance. This is like Robert Downey Jr. making friends with Johnny Depp and then like sticking up for him. He has enough clout, he can make this happen. And I honestly hope this catches on because capitalism will save the day. If you bring in these artists who have been canceled and you're like, oh, we're gonna make some money.
Also somebody pointed out in the comments, like Lil Durk did the same thing. Like he's not like, about Morgan Wallen. He's like, he's not a bad dude. You guys need to get drop it. I like the idea that people are wising up to like, this will eventually happen to me. Maybe a little bit of grace and forgiveness is a good thing.
That's why Diddy's a perfect guy for it.
I understand that. It's just I resent that they need somebody else to vouch for them that they're an actual human being.
Right.
Well, in this case, it's just
that's
the fact
really like the situation we're in. Yeah. It's so out of control.
So I think Morgan actually won like a country music artist of the year this year or something like this. We were going to cover that on here, but ended up like passing on it. So that so they both performed, and then of course because it's 2022, the internet is big mad that that forgiveness is like a thing now. They're like, when we tell you that you did something wrong, like say the wrong word, you're supposed to just crawl into a hole and die because we don't really want to have to do. How dare you ask for forgiveness and try to move on with your life? That's a bad thing.
But then Chet Hanks came.
Yes.
And he freed all our souls.
He did.
He
but
revolutionized.
See, he's not like Diddy. He's not an A-lister. He, I would say, is probably B-list or C-list because his dad is Tom Hanks.
He is
somebody
a total
like
nepotism baby, but he is earning a name for himself.
I know,
but
Diddy has that. He has the in. Like, he's big enough that he can
He
be like,
was like
well, Kanye did too. He did the same thing.
But
remember?
Ye is like a once in a lifetime phenomenon.
So
like,
what you're saying is like you need to be a like a clout broker.
Here's
where
the deal.
You like you shill it out to the people who need it.
The deal is that I don't like that that's the way it is, but the fact is that it is the way it is.
It's at least one
footing.
footing.
Have to work with the way it is.
So here's some of the tweets. It says Diddy knew about the Morgan Wallen incident and still let him perform in the name of love. Pathetic.
Yes.
That guy's literally saying like love. Bad. That's not.
How dare they?
Yeah, it says. I wish the media would cancel Diddy. How big of a fan? How big of him to be a follower and try to ride the wave? LOL. Where was he before? SMH. Yeah, I mean, putting Diddy in charge of producing this and deciding that it would be his mission to get Morgan Wallen and Travis Scott uncanceled was probably not a brilliant idea. They literally don't want you to ever feel safe or to ever be allowed to like make a living for yourself again.
Their mistake is thinking that they can cancel someone as big as Diddy, and this is why we need people like him. Woo!
Thank you.
My gosh, every time.
Thank
you guys. This is why we need people like him to stand up. We really do. We need big names to be like, you know what? We're forgiving people now. That's what we're doing.
I kind of agree and I kind of disagree because we need people to stand up for themselves.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like the ideal situation would be
like
someone like Morgan Wallen can speak up for himself, or Travis Scott can actually answer for the deaths that occurred at Astroworld. Like,
and I'm having
instead of getting somebody else to step up to on their soapbox about how they can be redeemed.
And I'm having a hard time like discussing them in the same gravity.
Oh,
like
they're totally, and they're
it's
totally
actually
not.
comical.
And the fact that they are seen as like the same scale of
I know.
tragedy.
That's the world we live in now.
It just shows how insane this has gotten because people are groveling for forgiveness for things that they should have never apologized for. And then when you actually do something criminal and you just like stay silent because
I thought Wallen stayed silent.
He did.
He
That's
like
what one
I
of his
think for the
articles
most like he didn't really address.
Well, I just mean like in a general sense.
Also,
like,
there's
usually when people are getting mobbed for things they say, like they immediately apologize and make it worse for themselves.
Never apologize.
No.
Unless you actually have something to apologize for. And the other thing that I say is never apologize to a group.
Exactly.
Apologize to an individual that you've wronged. But when they ask for it for a group, it's always disingenuous. Yeah. I also love this. This is my favorite headline of the day. It says, Morgan Wallen doesn't address N-word video controversy in Billboard Music Awards return. How was that supposed to happen?
They were expecting him to stop in the middle of a song and be like, by the way, I'm really sorry for that N-word video.
Yeah, that's what they're like. Like he comes on stage, he's like, thank you for giving me this award. And I would just
grovel, Brett.
Yeah. Like,
he didn't grovel.
So, I mean, I don't know if it says the country singer delivered his first major awards performance since he was caught on camera using a racial slur a year after he was banned from the Trophy Fest. So he was like, this is kind of those things like this was happening with like businesses that were like giving mandates, and now they're rolling back mandates. You're banned from an event. I bet you Will Smith is back in like less than 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
Like they're not going to let that. They're just not like.
He's an
But
A-lister.
I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with getting back to just forgiving people and being okay with people making mistakes. And I'm not talking about like them needing like the forgiveness of everybody else. I'm saying like as a society, understanding that forgiveness is a virtue and it's not something that you should look like you're being somehow less of a person for or less strong. No?
Nah. Let him
Disagree?
pay your sentence. You slapped a man on live television and humiliated him.
Yeah, but, okay.
You can stay home with your crazy wife.
Well, sure.
I'm not even talking. I was talking more about the
Oh,
Morgan
okay, sure.
Wallen. Like you have to also resist the urge to like lump everything in together. Like I said, we're talking about
Right.
Travis Scott and Morgan Wallen when they're not really the same thing at all.
But
problem
because they're being thrown in the same
exactly. They're being
dungeon,
cast
I
in the
guess.
same light. Yeah.
So it says Diddy gives an award for activism against racism while simultaneously giving a platform to Morgan Wallen. They don't have any clue what forgiveness or what
No. They
no.
don't want forgiveness. They
why
don't
is-
like that he's making it cool.
Yes. So it says, why is Billboard really supporting and promoting this racist prick? He said one thing that was off color and
He was
really
drunk.
bad. He
Literally
was wasted.
drunk.
He shouldn't have said it. It's really funny. I've been rewatching The Wire, and the amount of N-words you hear dropped in that show is insane.
The sensibilities were truly different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not so long ago.
I posted a couple of clips from the show that I'm just like, yeah, this would never get made in 2022.
Even
and
if it's more realistic, it doesn't matter.
That's-
You can't portray that type of word being said anymore.
That's the
Yeah.
part that
Ever.
bothers me is I like the fact that the realism feels, I think part of that comes from the fact that we can't as a society, like the idea is like you wrote what you knew back then and now you can't really do that because you have to write for large groups of people. So if your life experience is generally kind of I don't know what the word for it would be.
Rough
Yeah,
around the edges.
like they're not going to really trust you to be telling a legitimate story, and like a lot of what we see from Hollywood now is very sanitized. Like I started rewatching The Wire because I was watching We Own the City, which is it's a David Simon production, which he's the one who created The Wire, and
Right.
it feels so sanitized and fake as compared to The Wire, just because now the internet is a real thing, and there's no way to get away from the instant clapback for everything you do.
It's all corporate.
Yeah.
And I think that cancel culture is at least partly to blame. And that's why I'm so glad that Sean Combs, whatever the F he goes by now.
Someone
Yes.
said that he goes
Yeah.
by Brother
Who
Love.
knows? I don't know. It
I
doesn't
don't know.
matter.
I'm gonna keep calling him
Sean
P. Diddy.
Combs.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
He used to
it's
be called Puff Daddy.
yes,
I know.
Puff Daddy was when
So
we were
many.
kids.
I
Good
can't
stuff.
even keep track.
So
Yeah.
they talk about how at their performances, both Travis Scott and Morgan Wallen got decent sized or got good
Yeah,
responses from
of
people,
course.
because I
Uh-huh.
don't think we also keep making the mistake in saying that Twitter is like the real world and
No,
Twitter is
no.
not the real
Yeah,
world.
I
Real
was
life.
just considering like how many cancellations do you think were completely like funded by like corporations maybe or other like
Yeah.
rivals
Competitions?
like
Yes.
celebrities
Mhm.
with bots that
Oh,
were
yeah,
like
those-
creating viral content trashing somebody.
I didn't actually pick out the article today, but they actually just had a thing where like at the Oscars this year, they had like a fan favorite category, like, cause they're like, nobody likes the Oscars anymore. Cause like, so we're going to try to do this thing. And a movie called Army of Darkness by Zack Snyder won. And Zack Snyder is known for having like a really, really rabid, heavy duty fan base that like loves all his stuff. They literally got the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie made from like just sheer willpower. They bought out advertisements and gave money to charity
Right.
to show like how like, and they've got their own like I've heard stuff from people saying it's like super poisonous. There's a lot of people in there that are like like Brigade on other channels and stuff like that. I can't speak to that. I just know that group had a large movement, and they're saying like bots were part of like that there was like stuff coming in at weird times, like lots of votes coming in all at once. So bots were involved in that. And like Shane Cashman was here a couple weeks ago talking about the dead internet theory.
I haven't stopped thinking about it. That really like
That's
left a mark
interesting.
on me.
You guys know that Elon Musk discovered some significant percentage of Twitter users are all bots. And
Like
that
a
they
lot
were
of people have
inflating their
had like
numbers.
mass unfollowings and mass
right,
followings.
and mass following. So it's
Well,
like, what's going on
when you
here?
think about the power of your follower count on social, like think about how many like people on Instagram or TikTok put the amount of followers they have or plays they get on their social media page.
Or
Like,
on a resume.
yes. So if that is enough to be, if there's enough power in your follower count to make you viable for companies, it's just as likely that your, an antagonist count could also make
covering
you
your tracks.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. So
100%.
like a lot of like with all this stuff, whether it's Morgan Wallen, whether it's Travis Scott, whether it's these types of things, it all feels very manufactured and a product of the time we live in, and would not have been a thing 15 years ago. 15 years ago, you did something awful. You kind of said, I'm really sorry about that. You disappeared for a little while and you came back and society just kind of either forgot or didn't forgive you. But now there's those people, for every actor that does something stupid, they've probably got like a couple hundred people that just hate their guts, have never liked their stuff, who will go out of their way to like there's people who like, I always point this out. I get like whenever I post skating videos, there's like a couple of people that just come in to like rag on me, and
that's their favorite pastime.
I cherish them. It's the same 2 or 3 people that come in to just who just for some reason like hate my guts and can't like resist the opportunity to take the time to say so.
Dane?
It's probably Dane.
It's definitely Dane.
It's Dane and his 2 other throwaway accounts.
Yes, burner accounts.
If that happens to someone like me who does not have a humongous following online, you have to believe that a celebrity with a far bigger name is going to have that same problem, and it's affecting your ability to make money. It's affecting your ability to have strong standing in society.
Listen, people have no idea how much of the wars on social media are not real.
Yes.
And
is this because of your like how you like marketing? Like
bots. Like I'm telling you, like.
Can you give me an example?
Like I don't want to get political, but most like elections, every like hate post is either by some agency that got hired by a political candidate or bots.
Yeah,
really.
And I would not be surprised at all, specifically music labels. Because like sometimes a lot of celebrities, thank you,
Thank you so much.
a lot of celebrities they do like these little kits when you work for them. Is like, this is our brand, this is our audience, and this is like the closest audience and entertainer compared to us. Thus, like, market generally to us, but here are some things where you can like get a little bit of like cross revenue. Is there
such things like bot farms and stuff like that?
Absolutely, Absolutely.
I've seen the phone farms. It's totally real.
I think I saw like a picture of like a phone farm like not too long ago. Like they're large rooms. It kind of looks like a server farm.
But the thing is, they're way better now because back in the day, it was a lot easier to identify because the account would be like brand spanking new. It would be like year 2010, and the account's like literally from yesterday, has 1 follower. It's called picture. Like
String of
awesome
numbers.
Dude 29, and
actually his name is Joe Schmo 32.
Basically,
32.
That's his name.
Yeah.
And I love my guns 43, and they're literally like given algorithms like verb, like end phrase, and they just keep like simulating it, and like it'd be harder to identify. But since everyone right now is at the point of like parody. Like everyone's opinion is like a ridiculous like parody on themselves.
Yeah,
it's super hard to distinguish these bots from people, especially now that the accounts are older, so it seems like an actual person.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.